Hello, this is Tom from Northwest Trains, back in the office today, and we've got another unboxing. We've got the Revolution Trains Southern General Manager's Inspection Saloon, Caroline, and I've got mine in the Network Rail Brunswick green as it is now. Now, this is the first piece of rolling stock I've had from this company, so something different, and the total cost for this coach that's got no motor or anything in it. We'll find out what features it does have in a sec, but basically what's in this box cost me £164, and with the decoder that goes in it, overall cost now is around £190, including like I say, the decoder and postage. So expecting something amazing out of this really. So let's go and open it and take a look. I've got to confess I already have opened it and had it out the box once because I couldn't wait to DC fit it basically. So no other info on there. That's how it is. Slightly different to the cube style packaging we've had off other brands. And the rest of the box, quite nice overall. Our instruction manual, we'll take a look at that in a sec. So the coach, I was about to say loco then, I keep it almost saying loco. So got a little bag of details there. Got the we can dig them out, the X name plates are in there for it. They're buried actually, sorry. I won't be gluing them on anyway, to be honest, I never bother. That's got the blanking plate in it, by the way. Now I fitted a Dapol Imperium decoder, so I'll take a look at that in a minute. So let's just take a look there. As you can see straight out of the box, you can see it's absolutely packed with detail and extra parts. You know, it's not just all one mould. Like I say, you'd expect something amazing for the price that you pay for this thing. I waited a long time for it, and I suppose I will sell other stuff to justify paying the price for it. But let's just take a look. So it has got a fully detailed interior. I'll show some pictures of that. I took some photos of it while I had the body off, so I don't have to do it again. But it is really stunning. You've even got a kitchen and a toilet, not that you can actually see it. You can see the glass in there for the toilet is frosted, so obviously you can't see it. And you've got the curtains, got the separately fitted handrails here, and a whole host of amazing extra details there. So that's what you're sort of paying for, if you like. Not that you'll be able to see half of it from underneath. You can see the name wrote on the side there, Caroline, so you could glue the X ones on if you wanted to. I presume the white window there's for the kitchen. Got a couple of one ends, got separately fitted wipers. You can see right through there, just about. You can see how the inspectors get a really good view out the window. It's a really unique coach, and that's why I like the idea of it to go with my Direct Rail Services Class 37s. So also underneath here, so we have lighting features on this coach. So these are all the individual switches, so if you're keeping it as DC ready, you can turn them on and off here, which is quite handy. So what we'll do is we'll get it on the layout. I'll show a few pictures of it in a sec with the internal detail, and we'll have a look at it on the track. Okay, we've got Caroline on the track. I'm going to do a proper running session of it in the loft later on, but just on the little micro layout, it does dwarf the layout quite a bit actually, but it runs quite freely and smoothly on the track. Just thought we'd take a little look at the brochure that we came with the coach. So it goes about the lighting features here, but it's mainly instructions if you're going the DC option. There's no instructions on DCC, so what number each light setting is and so on, which is disappointing. I remember the Accurascale Mark V coaches were the same. It does briefly show you how to fit the decoder if you want to pause that and take a look. It was reasonably easy, to be fair. You just got to unclip the body. I just used one of these just to gently, so you don't damage the body, and put some very thin bits of plastic in to stop it reconnecting. And the decoder itself was okay, but you just got to remember to push the body firmly back onto the coach chassis, because it's like a plug that connects up, so I hadn't quite connected it up properly, and the lights were flickering a little bit, so once it was pressed firmly, it seemed okay after that. So again, info on fitting the nameplate, and we've got some pictures here of how it used to look in the brochure. And I believe, I think it tells you in the back actually, that Caroline was actually named after a member of staff that worked for Network Rail for over 20 years. I mean, she sadly passed away a while ago. And give you an idea of all the separately fitted parts on this coach. There's a parts list. It's absolutely incredible, isn't it? So you sort of understand why the price is a bit higher there. But I mean, there's no, apart from obviously the wheels, I don't really detect any metal or anything. It's all plastic. The pickups are hopefully good quality, so we don't want any flickering lights when the coach is going round. That's the trouble sometimes with the Accurascale driving trailer on the Mark V set, because that was the only one fitted without a stay alive, unfortunately. Now, again, more info on this coach. I'm not going to go too into that, because you could soon look it up yourself. It does look a similar length to me as a Mark I coach. I will compare it later on when I'm up in the loft, like I say. A few more pictures and details there. Like I say, what I really wanted was functions for DCC. Like I say, we'll go and have a look at that in a sec. Again, this is a nice little bit of info. We've got a few formations here that it's had previously on it. Like I say, I've got the DRS 37s. I've even got a Colas 37 I can run with. So that's a nice, interesting bit of info. But anyway, yeah, let's get the lights on now and see what it's like. Okay, so like I say, there's no instructions on the light modes or settings, so just experimented really. So we've got, I wrote it down, so we've got headlights 0, and number 1 is interior lights. Now you can just see all that lovely detail inside now, so I mean, that's sort of what you're paying for, isn't it? Now I'll have to try and get some suitable figures to go inside, because you can really see inside, so it will be good. Now so we'll come back to 2, so number 3 is the footstep light. Now we just noticed that. I'll just turn it back on and off again. That's a nice little feature. Okay, I'll leave that on for now. And then we've got 4, which is the searchlight. So I'm looking forward to trying that out in the tunnels. So if we just change direction. Now this is the only downside now, because I use a Gauge Master Prodigy. The tail lights are function 2. So I'll just have to hold this down now to try and get it to work. Now you can see, at least they work, but what I do need to do, I have asked Dapple, because I use the 21-pin Imperium 1 decoder, and I had a similar issue with the Accurascale Mark V coach set. Now Peter at I think it's Torridon Junction, his channel's called, and he'd done a really helpful video on how to change the CV settings over. The only downside is I can't use setting 4 on this one, because it's already taken by the headlight, so I need to find out how to change function 2 to function 5 or 6, and that'll solve that. Now I'm also not sure whether the use the tail light while the loco's behind it, because otherwise normally it'd be on function 0 with the headlights. So I presume that's something to do with it. But other than that, I can't really fault it. It's absolutely stunning coach. I'll just bring it over, and you see the detail there. In fact, I'll move the camera over a little bit. Right, as you can see, there's you can see the internal detail there. You can see the desks and the chairs. You can see the different colours applied. The wood effect or pine looks really good on the tables, especially. You can see the little control lever in the front there. There's slight light flicker when I've push it or touch it, so I'm hoping once it's on the main layout it'll be okay. Nothing worse than light flickering. Now again, you got a good driver's eye view for the inspectors there. There were 3 chairs. Again, you got the little control panel there. You got a few more desks in the window behind. You've even got obscure frosted glass here, so obviously you can't see into the toilet area or kitchen area. So they have packed a lot of detail into this. So the main test now is running on the layout and see how the lights hold up without any flickering. I can hear a very slight noise. It's almost as if it's slightly tripping, but I've just had another coach and another loco on and they don't react to it, so it might just be the noise that the coach makes. Not too sure. But there's a very, very slight flicker. The coach itself runs really smoothly. It might just be me putting pressure of my hand on it that's causing it, so we'll see in a minute. Anyway, we're going to get up in the loft in a sec, and we'll send it for a good run around the layout and see how it holds up. Right, I thought before we test out the lights properly, I'd do a little performance test first. Now, what I've found with recent locos that I've looked at, I know this is a coach, but you know, it's the last to run on the same track. I found with Real Track, Rapido, the Dapple Manor is a good example. Don't like my set track curves, mainly the points. So it seems to be the smaller manufacturers. Hornby usually are fine. I presume they test everything on their own set track, so that's why they're fine. And I find probably about 95% of backmen work on second radius. So I thought this would be a fair test for it. So let's send her off. So we got 37425 Concrete Bob on duty this time, so we'll see how it does. Right, let's just see how it does now on the second radius points in a row. And we've got a little bit of a derailment there, yeah. I know, sort of would have corrected itself. Let's work our way along. There's a slight sort of squeaky noise to it. Yeah, no, it doesn't like the... Right, I had to cut the running in short because it derailed slightly on, when I say derailed, it derailed on one wheel going around the second radius point. So as you can see, it failed that test. It done the upper level fine, as you can see from the previous clips, but on the fiddle yard with a row of 5 set track points in a row, even though it's going in a straight line, it just didn't like them, just lifted off the track twice. And on the second time I took it back on, put it back on the track, I noticed the lights didn't come back on, so I thought, oh no, here we go. So I turned it all off, tried to start it up again, nothing, not a single light worked. So I thought, I'll take the body off and have a look. So I thought, while the body's off, you might as well have a look. So you can see the lighting bar here, the decoder, like I say, used the Dapol Imperium decoder, and that's the socket there to connect to the track power, which is here. And like I say, I was going to just include a few pictures or images in the video, but I might as well just show you now. You can see the internal details there. Not that you're never going to see this, by the way, but I suppose it's nice that they've included it. You can see the kitchen there. You've even got the sink moulded in, hob. So it is luxury for whoever's travelling on it. And that there, you've got your toilet. So it's certainly the most internally detailed coach. You can see the tables and chairs that I've ever had. And you can see the clips that it's held on by. To be honest, I think I'd sooner swap these for screws, because it's convenient to take off. I literally took it off using my fingernails, and you know, look at the size of them. So I presume for the lighting to work perfectly, this plug has to be fixed right into that. And obviously we don't want this working loose, and I presume that's what's broke it. I hope that's all it is, because if it's something to do with the lighting bar, then it's going to have to be returned. So we'll stick it back on now, and we'll see how it is. So just carefully put that on there. Right, I presume that's all it is. That's all I've done before, and doesn't seem like much, does it? But let's just see if the lights work now. So function 1, no, nothing at all. 0, nope. That's really disappointing, that. I'm a bit gutted, to tell the truth. What I might have to do is dig out a analog controller and see if it works on DC. If not, then it must be the something to do with the lighting bar or the connection. Anyway, I'll have another look now and see what I can do. I mean, another issue is you can't test it while the body's off, because it's 2 separate parts connected. So anyway, I'll have a little look and report back. Right, that concludes the running session of Caroline. Now, overall, looks wise, appearance, it's got to be no less than a 10 out of 10. Like the livery application, all the extra detail that you see, the extra fitted, separately fitted parts, can't fault any of that. The lights features itself is great, because like I say, for the night scenes I like to do, the working main headlights, you got the floodlights, internal lights, and even the little step lights. It's just the downside is we've got light flickering. I'm sure I read somewhere when I saw this coach getting developed that it was having something in it to prevent that, but I've took it around different parts of the line. I've cleaned bits of track where I saw the lights flicker, and for a while it works better, then it goes back to flickering again. I've given it a good it's had a good hour's worth of running in it now. This is I stopped halfway through doing this video actually and left it a day or two, and I've come up again tonight to give it another good run in before I conclude the video to see if it improves, and it hasn't. So for £190 including the decoder, it's a little bit disappointing, because I expect a coach for £190 and 00 scale to be perfect in every way. Now, I'll be interested to see what other people say about it. I think for £190 they could include a stay alive, and for me the lighting is the main feature. What's the point of having all this detail if the lights don't work? So things like the kitchen toilet that you're not going to see, I'd have happily sacrificed that for the cost of putting a stay alive unit in of some description, just to stop the light flickering. The Hatton's coaches, the 4-wheel, 6-wheel coaches, they flicker over my points on dead spots, but those coaches cost less than £40 each. The Bachmann DBSO, the network rail, was about £120, £130. Downside to them is when they lose power, the lights go off and you got to turn them back on again, but generally they're quite consistent and they work quite well. But again, that came DCC fitted for £130. Now even the Collectors Club DRS version was £150, so it's still £40 less than this. I know the internal detail isn't anywhere near the quality of this one, but for me it's about the running quality. I still think that they should adequately work on set track, especially when they say they work on second radius, which a lot of them do, and they don't really. They work on a basic second radius curve, but not set track points. Now, another fault is, I'll put a picture up, I tried various different locos. The Class 37, or Bachmann 37, worked the best with this as a pushing loco. The Class 20 is fine on the outer track, but even on the third radius curves, but the set track points, as soon as you got around the second radius curve, the buffer would push the coach off the track because it was too tight when it was pushing it. Pulling it's fine, but just pushing it, which is what this coach is going to be predominantly doing, it's no good on the second radius. The Class 37 was fine, although it did derail on a couple of points on a couple of occasions, and so it's sort of, you can run it, but it's not going to be perfect, so that's to bear in mind. Now, I also tried the Helgen Class 33, same thing again, even on a third radius curve this time, because the couplers were lower. Again, I'll put a picture up. The couplers were lower down, so it's once it goes underneath the other coupler and goes around the curve, that again the buffer stop on the loco lifts the coach off the track. So maybe a bit of added weight might have helped this, I don't know, but that, for something that's going to get pushed, maybe a bit of added weight might have helped, especially in above each bogie. So that's just a few things I wanted to point out. Even like the Acura scale train pack, now you got a driving trailer and 4 coaches for £225, so about £250 with the decoder. So for an extra 60 odd pounds, you got 4 coaches, and those 4 coaches all had internal lighting with a stay alive unit in them. The only downside to the Accura scale was the driving trailer didn't come with any DCC information like this one, and it also didn't come with a stay alive, which seemed a bit daft. But again, you got a whole train basically of 5 coaches and 4 coaches in a driving trailer for £60 more than this one coach. So it's my first piece of rolling stock from Revolution trains, so I don't want to knock them. If you've got a small layout that's mainly just a little up and down, like a TMD or something, this coach is absolutely perfect for it. For a layout like mine, that's, I wouldn't say is professional, but I try and do it to as good a standard as I can. There's still a fair bit of set track on it. It's not ideal for it, but on the upper level, surprisingly, that's half second radius, and I didn't have a single derailment on the upper level. But like I say, my main problem, or main thing I'm not happy about, is the flickering lights. So I may have to try and find someone who can fit one in somewhere if it's possible. I also didn't like the way earlier on the lights went off altogether, and I had to take the top off again and mess around with the decoder, and the lights did work again. But I think because the decoder's upside down, the weight of the decoder was pushing it out of the socket. I don't know if anyone's ever experienced that before, but even even the Accura scale coaches, the bar going across to the decoder, I think, was sat upright. So if the decoder's upside down, does that have any effect? Especially if you're picking a coach up and lifting it off, put it into storage and so on, it might work its way loose again. Because of all the detail, I don't particularly want to be taking this on and off all the time to refit the decoder. So again, something else. I'd be curious to see what anyone else thinks. But other than that, I don't want to sound too disappointed. It looks amazing. I've got to say, it looks amazing, and it runs well on non-second radius set track points. Everything else on the 4th radius side of the layout, it was perfect with the class 37. So again, we swapped the couplers over on the Helgen or the Dapo locos because their couplers tend to dangle a bit too much. That's a fault that they haven't seemed to have rectified yet. Maybe swap for a magnetic coupler, that might help. But yeah, just something to bear in mind. I'll probably do a review on the nuclear flash wagons next. I might just do it as part of a running session because there's quite a few videos out of them. And we're going to take a look at the double gauge micro layout again next. I know I showed it briefly with this coach, but I'll do a little update on that. So again, please let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching. And take a look at my Instagram and Facebook. I always put more pictures and videos on there, and I'll keep an eye out for the next video. Bye for now.